Hi, and welcome to ibex Utilities Modern Utility CX series. My name is Mark Wilkinson, and this week we're tackling another edition of our CS Week Trends. Today I'm talking with Fortegra's Steve Davidson. Steve, how are you today?
Good, thanks, Mark. Nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Steve and I saw each other at CS Week, and I think it was funny to find it was your first edition of that show. It was quite a year to pick the first edition. Why don't you give us your impressions of the show and tell our audience a little bit more about Fortegra and the work you do with utilities?
Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks. It was great to actually attend the CS Week. I thought it would be really useful for your audience to just kind of share some of the conversations we had with several utility companies there. Being my first show, I learned quite a bit. I really wanted to learn, what some of the topics and the themes that were coming out of the show. I thought it was very interesting, despite the lower attendance. I had some really good conversations. Just to start off, I thought maybe it'd be useful to share a bit of information about Fortegra. We're a specialty insurance provider operating for the past 40 years or so. We're owned by Tiptree, a publicly traded company. Within our warranty and service contract business, we support several business channels, including utility, retail, and manufacturers. In short, we provide home and consumer product coverage plans to consumers through our partners, while allowing our partners to generate incremental revenue. We work with several utility companies now, and some of the services that we provide today vary in different ways in terms of what they're looking for. As an insurance provider, we certainly provide underwriting, risk management, regulatory compliance pieces, and we have the flexibility to provide any and all of those. But I think many of the utility partners that we work with, they're really looking for some value-add products to offer to their consumer base. And certainly that also allows them an opportunity to generate incremental revenue. So it's really a win-win situation. So it was really interesting to hear about again what everybody was looking for, and had some really good conversations.
Yeah, I agree. We've known about your products for a long time, and it's I think some of our audience that may not know, when you're the power behind the scenes for utilities that might be offering those types of service plans to customers. And I think your remark about the incremental revenue was really powerful. In fact, that was one of the most common questions. Even though we didn't have as many people to talk to at the show, we certainly spent a lot more time talking about real issues at the show. We had an opportunity to have a lot longer conversations with utility clients and partners. And one of the overriding themes was, where can I either find incremental revenue or find new products and services to offer to my customers? Was that your experience too?
Yeah, no, absolutely. In fact, what I would start my conversations by asking, what are they trying to gain from the show? And to your point, many of them did kind of revert back to the need for incremental revenue. And there were different reasons. They varied from displaced budgets due to the pandemic. They were trying to find new ways to generate income to kind of redirect some of the funds, whether they wanted to invest more in the customer service or customer experience. So there were a number of different reasons why, or why they had that need for incremental revenue. And I thought that was interesting, and learned quite a bit about that.
And one of the advantages of your products is they very often can provide a lot of lasting reoccurring revenue, right? Because these are products that customers typically are buying to feel a sense of protection in their home or with their devices, and they tend to keep them for quite a long time. And those programs can actually provide some recurring revenue to utilities, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Not only, these monthly pay recurring revenues, but also, again, there needs to be a good balance there, right? And I think they were all looking for what is the right balance, because everybody's looking for incremental revenue, but you're also looking to improve CSAT scores and improve customer loyalty, right? So I think it was just, again, they're just trying to find out what's out there, what are my options, and how do I achieve that goal of the right balance.
Yep. No, I couldn't agree more. I think driving high CSAT, very satisfying experiences is going to be the trick, and revenue for revenue's sake's a problem. Revenue that affirms customer loyalty, delivers something extra, engages customers in a new and different way, is all going to be really relevant, and especially as we accelerate into the new world.
Right.
And actually, I've spent my fair share of time in contact centers listening to calls from customers about these products, and I've got to say they're incredibly satisfying. There's you've got a customer on the phone who's calling maybe with a problem. They've got an unexpected repair on a major appliance, or they've had a short in the house or from a lightning strike or something and blew out a TV. There's no happier customer at the end of that call than someone calling you and knowing that they're going to get something taken care of, right?
No, that's absolutely right. I mean, it's these customers are looking for these types of services and coverages. And, when you look at the different types of consumers, and it depends on, the makeup of their portfolio. It's, you've got the tech savvy customers, and, they're obviously into the new and cool technology. They're the ones that are purchasing and acquiring smart devices, connected devices, especially nowadays, due to the pandemic. Again, a lot of consumers are spending more and more time working out of the household. So they need that support to make sure that those devices continue to work properly. And they're looking for that value added coverage to kind of help them when they need it. And then, there's other portfolios that have a growing customer segment who may be getting older, the empty nesters. They certainly need extra help. I know my folks, we're like the local help desk for them. They call us if they need help, and not as successful as the help desk, but nevertheless. So it really depends on the makeup of the portfolio, and again, each consumer base kind of reacts differently.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think, everybody should give their aging parents one of your plans for Christmas, if to do nothing but to relieve the calls, around holiday season to help with programming and things. No, so you said something really interesting about the portfolio, and I think it bears repeating and maybe more understanding. So, in terms of a utility just starting out on one of these programs, or maybe they've got a couple of products and they want to amplify it, do they get to pick and choose? Do you curate solutions? What kind of advice would you offer them?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way to really do it is to kind of look at, there's never been a better time to start. So what we'd like to do is we're happy to engage and do an assessment based on what their portfolio looks like. And as you mentioned, Mark, there's a lot of different variations and ability to customize whatever package that makes sense. We really take kind of a menu approach, and several of the utility clients that we work with really do end up customizing a package. They may come up with 2 or 3 different packages to target certain segments, whether they fall in that tech savvy or the empty nester phase. And by looking at these different packages, then we can kind of hone in on, what is the real value at the price point that they want to create. And that's what we find working with many of the utility partners that we have conversations with. So it's really cool in terms of being able to customize packages for them and for their customers.
I think it's terrific. And as you said, there's never been a better time to start. We heard quite a lot from customers at the show and partners at the show where, they have customers asking for these kinds of solutions, and utilities are always looking for new and better ways after the move, certainly beyond the meter, to power the smart home, to get engaged with customers in their home. And I think your service plans certainly do a great job of doing that. So I want to thank you for spending time with us today. Normally, I would ask, what are you looking for when the world gets back to normal? I hadn't been asking that on the last couple of podcasts because we thought we were normal, but then of course, it's not. So I'll let you close with an answer to that question. What are you looking forward to most as the world gets back to normal?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm waiting. I'm hoping we get beyond the new norm and get back more to the norm. But I'm a food junkie, so I enjoy all the restaurants I can eat at. So I know I'm still waiting for some of those to open up. But no, I think we're definitely heading in the right direction, and I'm glad that more and more people are starting to engage. And I actually like to deal with people in person, so that also makes things a little bit easier to do. And I know that's starting to become more and more acceptable. So
Yeah, I certainly hope you're right. Steve, thank you very much for joining us today. I appreciate all the great information for our utility listeners. And for anyone who would like to get in touch with Steve, here's his information on screen. Don't hesitate to get back in touch. He's a terrific resource, especially for your initial questions, or maybe even to schedule some of that assessment work he's talking about. Steve and I have some partners and clients in common, and I know they all speak very highly of that kind of engagement with Fortegra and with Steve's team. So Steve, thanks again very much for joining us today. And thanks to everybody who listened in. Next up in our Utility CX series, we'll be talking about CS Week trends in our 5th edition. This upcoming session will be with our own Bob McAllister to talk about contact center trends this year and beyond. Specifically, we're interested in talking about some of the innovation and the CLX enhancements that Bob heard about at the show and that utilities are talking about for next year. So once again, thanks everybody for joining us, and we look forward to speaking with you next time.